The
This
18th.
conference will now be recorded.
Oh yeah, sorry, Michael. Thank you.
Yeah. And the 18th is getting kind of late in December, and we might lose some participants in the workshop due to people starting to take end of year vacations. So we wanted to put it to the group to see which date probably makes the most sense. Anyone have a perspective?
Does it have to be a Wednesday, or could it be a different day of the week?
It's pretty tough at Facebook to find facilities that are large enough to hold this many people. Generally, it's you have to book it months in advance. So those are the two dates that we can find space that works really well for the size group that we have.
Got it.
And I think.
Oh, please go on.
Well, I apologize. I was going to say for us at this little gym that most schools, Alex had the thought that let's look at when schools get when schools close, and apparently most schools close on the 20th or after on that Friday. So for what it's worth.
I would vote for the 18th because I am planning on going to the Risk 5 Summit. So.
Okay, we know where your loyalties lie, man. Fine.
Well, personally, I cannot do 11th, but that's the point. I think it should be the majority.
I like either one.
All right, that's 3 votes for the 18th.
Bobby, I will be going to Risk 5, so.
You will be?
Yes.
Oh my God, you and Quinn. Fine. All right. Kevin, we know where their hearts are.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah. Okay, let's go for the 18th then.
Okay, we'll lock in the 18th then. So I'm going to release the reservation I'm holding right now for the 11th.
There's only a limited number of open hardware efforts, so there's little merit in colliding with them.
Yep, understood. Thank you.
Hey, so while we're on that topic, in terms of the agenda, one of the things that we were thinking of was that we do not just presentations, but we do working sessions. And so I think in the agenda we have room for 2 working sessions for 2 groups that'll eat up about 2 hours each, kind of discussion wise, and then the others do the standard presentations. And so any thoughts on which? So roughly what I'm thinking is that we do, and Kevin and I have been sort of 2 working sessions. Originally we thought breakouts, but then I'm not convinced breakouts will lose audience, and everything becomes everything is too fragmented. So the thought is rather than having presentations, we have 2 working sessions, 2 hours each, or 90 minutes each maybe is enough. 90 minutes each. Group report outs, just a regular group report outs. The groups that do a working session don't do a report out. New ideas, which will probably be 2 hours. So I'm springing this on you, but any thoughts on which ones we do working sessions on? My first idea is prototype. There's all these loose topics which need to be brought together. There's boot up and power sequencing stuff, the software that maybe it merits a long working session. What are your thoughts?
Hi, Bobby, Kenneth. Just a high-level questions. There are other things like the link layer or the file, of course, and do they have a fixed timeline that they have to kind of like align to each other, or they can run individually on their progresses? Because after a few link layer meetings, I feel that we may benefit from a working sessions during face-to-face. But okay. I don't know whether that need to be in a certain fixed timeline to.
No, Nope. So link layer. Okay, we got a candidate on the link layer. What would so in general for the formula in my mind for the threshold is what open topics would you like resolved on the link layer? Is it the stack? And in fact, I wanted to share some of that. Okay, the stack discussion. Okay.
Yes, and at least we need to have the down selections on the options, right?
Yeah. So I'll say it's a threshold significant open issues worth. Okay, so then this goes away. Pipe, bow, CDX. So, what do you all think? What should we do with link layer? I've got like discussions, link layer and prototype.
Or if we can get enough people on software, sort of really kick that effort off.
So why don't
If
I
we
call
have a
it prototype
couple
and
leaders come
software?
forward.
Well, we had this guy Ashwin from Facebook who DJ nominated. Quinn, I mean not Quinn, Kevin. You think
Ashwin
Ashwin?
Kujari.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he could come and talk again, but probably should ask him for a commitment before I volunteer him.
Well, if that's the way, nobody would ever do anything, man. That's a very high threshold that we rarely follow. Okay.
I just think it'd be an opportunity if we could get enough sort of kickstart the software
Yeah.
effort and get a little bit of momentum and enough done that people would then feel committed to sort of continuing it.
Yep. I think that's a great idea. Prototype. So I'll call it prototype and software for the software and software for the prototype. Let me call that the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's can we make that TBD in the name? But there's another person on Facebook that I think we're going to pull into the POC.
Well, okay. So we'll say, how about this? I write it this way. He's not going to lead it, but I'll say Ashwin plus others to be TBD. He did participate up front.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Oh, Manish. We're forgetting Manish. That's what happens when he's not here. All right. The other one is, I don't know, Robert is the pipe, or Robert isn't here. The other one is, so we've been making the other candidates as a pipe interface is to sort of, we could just have a stack discussion. Means instead of the link layer or the pipe separately, we could just have a stack discussion. That's the other option, open-ended stack. It's evolved a lot. That's one option. This is what's been going on. So, all right. So one slot for software and software for the POC, right? Second slot, our choices are a generic stack discussion, all the ways it's evolved, link layer, a discussion focus on the link layer, or a discussion on the pipe interface. Anybody have any strong opinions?
So, Bobby, we were planning to add a testing session, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to do that as a new ideas test session. I don't think it's worth 90 minutes because the discussion will, even the software in my mind, we have to do a lot of legwork in order to make have a useful 90-minute discussion. I think the intent of the 90-minute discussion is like, there's a significant number of people engaged on this. Actually, Quinn, I think software, maybe we make it as a new idea, man. We won't have like, people don't come in with well-formulated thoughts, and there's not a back and forth. There's like for the stuff like the for the bring up and the power sequencing, there's enough people have given this a lot of thought, and there's stuff that's best resolved face to face.
Yes, I think that's a
So,
good way to present it.
so I like these two as new ideas, and then say the POC has brought up a lot of issues in my mind. So, okay, so Quinn, let me. I apologize. I'll put you on the spot. If we had to do a face to face on the POC, what topics would we discuss?
Well, I'm hoping that we can resolve the slow speed signals before then. I don't want to wait till then for that. So
Right.
I agree.
I'm
But, okay,
trying to figure out. We will have closed for the software development platform. I think we will have closed most of the issues. We can
so
report out on that, but in terms of real new content, I don't see that we really have. We shouldn't have big opens at that time.
yeah, but
I think we need to talk about what usage models and who's going to develop them.
I would put that more under the software and usage would be.
Is that
I think that's the big area, but I think that's more the new stuff as opposed to sort of big opens on the board.
The technical stuff on the board, yeah.
no, but I think
Hopefully we've got all the board stuff resolved by then, because the plan was right to start making boards.
Yes.
I'd put these under worth ratifying with the larger group, especially their impact on chiplets. Like, we're taking the board, and then sort of the impact on chiplets is worth a discussion in my mind, because it is something that other people have brought up.
Oh, so how does what we've chosen on the software dev board, how does it apply to the broader end goal of chiplets?
Exactly. Okay. And I think this is good enough to go on right now for the POC. I think we've got enough, and then we can do a test session. Somebody has to be on the hook for this. We'll come back to that. Oh, what about on the link, or anybody have any thoughts on Kenneth? Any thoughts on what you want to discuss on the link layer?
Well, right now we have a couple or several choices that we still in the evaluation phase, right? But then the evaluation progress is not fast. So I would suggest some kind of a proposal or a down selection process at the face-to-face, so that everyone is in sync and then also agree on the choices instead of just a few person on the call, which usually is only 3 or 4 companies, right, maximum. So I think face-to-face is a very good opportunity for that.
Now, do you think it's worth having a discussion on the whole stack, or is we should focus it on the link layer?
You mean my opinion?
Yeah.
Well, for myself, above the 5 layer, right now, if it is whether it is pipe or some other kind of interface, ultimately the link layer has to be, the stakeholder related to what's defined underneath it. So since we are going to have some pipe discussions over there, and then we have an opinion that the pipe is suitable for serial, but then for parallel, we don't think that it is necessary. So I think, again, in the group discussions, we can all agree upon whether the X pipe also applies to the parallel, or what kind of a link layer on the parallel side. And then once we agree upon, then we can start working on the details. For example, if we down select the CXS as a choice, then both underneath and above the CXS layer, then we can start working on, how does it applies to the rest of the stack instead of now being stuck and then we are kind of like cannot do anything until we resolve the whether it is pipe or non-pipe and that kind of things. That's our opinion. So.
Okay. All right. That's enough to go on, and maybe we come back to it in the next week and see if anybody has any better ideas.
Thank you.
Okay, so that leaves the pipe, the bow, the CDX, and business, and test sessions software. All right, I think we're all set. So
So
we'll.
Bobby, on the test session, what are your thoughts there? Is that like related to known good die, or how do you test die before they get packaged, or how things are tested once they're packaged? What's the
Well, in the last, it's either in the last workshop or in one of the meetings when we had an open, Elko came back and said, hey, we should do a test work group. And we've got Bill online here. I think we need to develop that
okay?
over the next couple of months.
Okay. So this is a new idea around this topic, and
Yeah.
it's still I think it's important to do. I just didn't know how fleshed out things
So
were.
I'm going to be meeting the IEEE test people, or not the test people, the regular test people somewhere in November, just before the workshop. So we can I'll use that as a starting point to see how we get organized on this.
Bobby, I will introduce you to the HRR's test chair. He will be there, and so he has a group developing the challenges. So I think that would be an area that he can contribute to your effort.
Okay. And then Elko introduced me to somebody at SEMI, and SEMI is looking to do something in the test space as well. So there's sort of a 2 or 3 groups that are converging on this.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe Bill,
it's the same people.
Oh, okay. Then okay, perfect. As I assumed. So
We-
Sam, somehow gluing all this together is the plan.
Yes, I think I would discuss with Elko, making sure that we have we do not have our wire crossed, but I think it is the same people.
Okay. And so basically, there's your HR, and there's SEMI has some kind of a workforce that's looking for that's sort of discussing new topics, and so maybe we can work with them and the HIR and somehow glue all this together into a plan.
Yeah, the SEMI is SEMI Tom Salmon is the key people inside the HRR. That's what I mean.
Okay. Sam, does that make sense? That's a plan at any rate.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks.
And if anybody else wants to join in, by all means, please do. I'll keep you posted. And Kevin, you and I can follow up with Ashwin, or you can follow up with whoever in Facebook you have in mind.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Sounds good.
Okay. Regular pipe report. Anything else on the agenda, Jawad? Am I missing anything?
No, I think that's good.
Do you think we should do the chiplet directory that we were discussing with Alex? Will we have enough critical mass to sort of just start creating?
We will keep that as part of CDX and see how
Okay.
far along we get, right?
Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. Mark, we have to move to regular meetings on the bow at some point and just sort of move to make the progress from 0.7 to 1.0 or 0.9.
Yep, totally agree.
Do you have any preference for when in the week we do these weeklies?
Good question. Let me look at what works for my calendar and get back to you.
Okay. I think Kenneth would like to come in. And there's somebody from IBM who'd like to join the BOE meetings. So we're getting sort of critical mass on this.
Perfect.
Okay. Anything else on the agenda? Wow, it's already full. We don't even need anybody else. So first off, is this a good idea? There's 2 working sessions for 2 hours each. Could somebody please say yes or no? And
Yes.
okay, okay, that was quick. Thank you. And then these we'll do regular talks. So I'll come back to the agenda next week. Other than that, I think we are done. Kevin, is there anything else?
No, I think that just a heads up, because of the parking situation in Menlo Park, we'll have to have people park off-site, and there will be transport that Facebook will provide from where everyone will need to park to bring them to where the event will be. So everyone should plan to arrive a bit earlier than they normally would.
Hey, Bobby, this is Jack.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a quick check if you want to give CMAC and John and maybe Archana heads up that we are doing this on that day.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
You meant the server group, right?
Yeah, maybe Archana, I guess, community.
Yeah, Archana, yeah. Well, Michael's still here. Yeah, okay.
Oh, Michael's here. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Bobby, if you could actually just send a note and go ahead and CC, but drop a note to Archana. That way we can get it on the planning calendar. That'd be great.
So normally we'd have Brian help with the logistics and thing, but he's not with us anymore. So Michael, maybe that's one thing I need some help on, or we got to figure that out.
Yeah, for sure. We'll coordinate on that thread.
Okay.
And if you need someone on site for logistics, I'm happy to fly out as well. But
awesome. Thanks. Kevin, once you give us a date, I think the big thing is once you have the date and everything else, we open it up for registration.
Yeah, we're locked. The date's locked on the 18th.
Okay.
So.
And the capacity?
300.
300. Okay, I don't think we'll go for 300. Should we just cap it out at the same 120?
Yeah. So the room itself can support 300. It's one of our bigger meeting facilities. So
okay.
I can't make the room smaller. So
okay.
It's probably the single best location at Facebook in Menlo Park to do an event like this. So.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, that IBM room was bigger than we needed. It's probably the same thing.
Yeah. So any thoughts? I'm thinking, should we cap it out at 120? Should we move it up to 150? Anybody have any ideas, opinions?
Why do we want to cap it?
All right. So just go with 300.
I mean, cap it. People would register earlier.
Yeah, that's
and then
true.
You can extend it.
Cap it at 120 to encourage. All right. Anything else we're missing for the December workshop? All right. Then the second, so we're getting a lot of noise on from someone. If you wouldn't mind going on mute, or probably if you may not even. I just want to walk you through. Michael's made several significant changes to the wiki, and I think he's going to make a couple more. One is we've got all our work streams up and running on this. you can see. And so if JP is not here, Jawad and Sam, if you would like your email address on this, you can put, I can give it to Michael, and he can put a link to so people can contact you directly. Otherwise, they'll contact me.
Sure. I have another question. Do we get a sub-wiki page?
Do you want a sub-wiki page?
It will probably make life easier because we now have like documents being piled up.
Well, this probably is not the page for the documents, right? You're probably better off with the GitHub repo. I'm going to work with and get it all set up next week.
Okay.
I think this is more for sort of like presentations and things. I think the wiki gets messy if you. I mean, I know it's a wiki, but I think it gets messy if you put all the documents on. I'll work on a GitHub repo by Wednesday next week is my guess.
Hey, Boppy, will you just include me on that so I can link it to the OCP repo?
Yep, I have to. I mean, it's going to hang off the OCP repo.
Okay, perfect.
So let me. This is all I have, right? I haven't missed anything, right? Okay. Then we added the bunch of wires interface proposal to this for anybody who'd like to take a look. We've got somewhere here we've got what happened to the white paper that you put on that go away? Oh, here it is. No, Michael, did you remove the white paper again?
I didn't. That's the link there at the top, but I can adjust wherever you like it. It's
no,
directly below the charter.
Direct. Oh, this one. Oh, perfect. Okay, this is the original white paper we had when we started the group. This in here. Then these are light reading white paper links to light reading webinar white papers, and then we've got all all the past conferences. I think Michael's going to add a link to the presentations of the global and regional summit at sometime this week, or excuse me, sometime next week. Okay, so I just wanted to make everyone aware that all of this information, this is now should be a single point for anybody to find out where to how to join a work group and who they should contact to join the work group. Anything else that needs to be on this page in your minds? Um, 10:16. Let me put a hard deadline on this. Okay. Anything else? Michael, thank you so much. All this, I think it's easier to send people to this now. To just say everything's on the wiki. Okay. That case, oh, right. And then we have a revised version of the bow paper. We had to sweat blood over the weekend to knock it off, thanks to Mark and Ramin. And anybody wants a copy, I'm happy to send it to you if you'd like to see it. It's still under, it's going to be under review by the IEEE Micro. But if you'd like a copy.
Yeah, send me a copy, Bobby.
Sure.
I'll love a copy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I will send. I can't post it on it because it's a I'll send. So it's Bill, Rita, and Sam. Okay, I'll send it.
Thank you.
So and then I think once Mark will choose a slot for the weekly bow meeting, and then we're off to the races after that.
Wednesday morning, 8 or 9.
Pacific, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go for Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Will that work for?
Sounds good.
Which one would you prefer? Well, let's do 8. 9 is lunchtime East Coast, right?
Yeah, 8's better for me, but I'm fine with either one.
Okay, let's just go for it. Wednesdays 8 a.m. until we hear a objection.
Sounds good. When I looked through a lot of our impromptu meetings, that was a commonly used time. So.
Oh, you had
Hopefully,
a method in choosing this. All
yeah,
right.
hopefully it worked for Ramin and others as well.
Yeah. Is Kenneth still on? We lost him.
I'm driving, so I'm sorry.
No, will Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. work for you?
Sorry, it doesn't work for me, but you guys go ahead.
Oh, but if you guys want to participate in the bow, we want to find a slot. It's either Wednesday morning at 8 or 9 for Mark. Can you make either of those slots work?
Oh, well, I have a standing meeting every Wednesday from 7 to 9, so sorry about the conflict.
Oh.
Well, we could meet at 9.
That will work.
Okay, I guess 9 a.m. it is.
I hope it works for other people. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you, Mark. So Jawad, I captured. I need a repo. Anything else? Okay, so revisit, explore if we need subwikis. My main hesitation, Jawad, honestly, is like maintaining these is a pain in the neck. And the more pages we have, the more work it is to maintain them. And if one link is broken, somebody, at least on OpenNFP, I've had this pain where somebody comes back and says that link is broken, the document's missing, and it's something we put up, a year ago or something, and we don't know where it is. Okay, I am done with the two big items I had. Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure. Any open from anyone? Mark?
Nope, I think I just resolved mine.
Hey,
Phil?
Boppy, it's
Yes.
Alex. I have one.
Yep, fire away.
So for those who don't know, we're building a chiplet catalog, and we want to create some categories of types of chiplets that will be listed in that catalog. And we would love some input from architects who would be building products using chiplets on what those categories should be. So Boppy, we could either try to get that input right now, or I could, if anyone's interested, I can set up a time to talk after this call's over.
Well, you've got Sam, Mark, and Quinn. I think Rita can provide meaningful input, and hopefully Kenneth and Phil as well. So I think we take a shot at it now.
Sounds good.
Is the question like what makes sense as a type of chiplet?
Yeah, as different categories. So if you were to be looking at a chiplet catalog and think of it as the different sections of a menu, accelerators might be one category, or SerDes chiplets. Do we want to break out accelerators into different subcategories, or is that broad a category more useful?
Yeah, I would have thought processors, accelerators, memory.
Yep,
SerDes, IO drivers, FPGA.
Optics.
Hey, wait. Okay, please see my screen. Tell me what I missed.
Power. Yep, power. that was the other one in my head. It's like there's at least one more.
Networking might be another one.
Networking.
Would we want to split that into like NIC type functionality versus switch type functionality?
Yeah, maybe those would be subcategories.
So process, like, somebody see my screen, please tell me if I missed anything.
Yeah, networking separate. Yeah.
Process actually memory SerDes FPGA. I think I missed one somewhere. FPGA. Maybe I don't call it FPGA, but programmable logic. Optics, power, networking. So I think shouldn't SerDes and IO, this should be IO under SerDes.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe SerDes and optics become a subset of IO. Yeah.
And then I'd even say PCI and memory would. So PCI memory, because you got this OMI stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you do have in a class of devices, there may be kind of low speed IO as a chiplet, right? It's not all high performance, just like
I might do
parallel buses, those kinds of things.
I might treat memory different than the other IOs.
No, I'm taking memory as the memory, and then memory IO as the other one.
Memory IO. What's memory IO? What's memory IO mean? Oh,
memory
IO to
DRAM
memory,
controller.
IO to memory, and then like HBM, right? So that's
yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Programmable logic. Already killed optics with this. So peripherals, right? Or I need like some other name for power.
Are we
Is it
talking about
peripheral?
voltage regulators?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
voltage regulators, sequencing and voltage regulation.
LDOs.
But I mean, do we call this peripherals? Peripherals seems like an ungenerous name. What's this? I guess for now I'll call it glue logic. No, that's wrong.
No, really.
It's not passive, so.
It's like Southbridge. I don't know what to call.
So these are power regulators that would be going into the package? Would it
That's
be
right.
like
Power management
should be,
product.
I think, power
LDOs?
distribution on the package.
Okay.
Okay, I call it components. There, logic, memory, IO, component, networking.
How about passive?
Passives, got it.
And then
And I'm guessing this
are
would be SRAM, DRAM,
Flash.
MRAM,
ROM.
Flash.
Flash. Yeah.
So this would be the component, but then are we going to go to the next level of even defining the substrate? What material the substrate may be?
But these are this is just a chiplet catalog, right? Will substrates? Oh,
okay.
Actually, that's a great question. No, interposers. That's where Jawad comes in.
Yeah, interposers.
Yeah, because if you have a silicon substrate versus organic substrate, or
my new favorite, Wilfo.
Wilfo.
Thanks to Mark. If and then here I put in like controllers, right? PCI controllers, PCI memory. There's one more I'm thinking. Bus controllers. Let's just say generic internet, e.g. AXI, tile link. Alex, is this enough to go on?
This is great. Thank you, everyone.
I'm sorry, I can see the screen now. So just one more category is the advanced mixed signals.
Isn't that under this?
Like those yeah, I think so. Yeah, like those are very high performance A to D, D to A kind of things.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the right category, and it is good to add it.
Would it be part of IOs or would it be part of the
I think it's an IO.
building blocks within? Okay, because I would think it would be more of a SerDes that would do those high speed.
Well, it depends on how
This
you
could
want to
be analog.
categorize them. You can put them into a high performance sensor categories.
Right. Yeah, that should be.
Can I add a sensors bucket too?
Thank you.
I feel like we're
Yeah, those
missing.
sensors belong in IO, maybe, but maybe not.
Maybe not. Where do you want to put them? Separate
I don't
top
know.
level.
The first one, logic. I mean, you're making PCIe and things like that are not really logic, but more of a building blocks within the silicon, right?
Well, if you remember, Zvonimir was like, hey, the first chiplet I can think of anybody building is a PCI controller with like a PCI interface on one side and a little bus interface on the other with a
Sure. So
I
would
mean, I
the
don't mind
sensor be that would be a sub block within, right?
here. Sensors here.
What do you guys think?
I'm happy either place. I don't have religion one way or the other.
I would see with all these self-heating stuff that is happening in the higher performance technology nodes, sensors are going to be everywhere on every one of the die pieces, in addition to other types of sensors.
I feel like of all the this is the part we're undercounting, and this is where we can learn from the POC that we're undercounting what goes into a package, and maybe we need some advice from Luke or somebody else to figure this out. We just sort of waved our hands and said, power, chiplets, and passives, and there's nothing else. Timers? Where do timers kick in? Retimers and
I would consider
retimers usually
IO.
they are, but isn't it retimers usually protocol specific and then cannot kind of follow our proposed standards?
Would that be part of IOs? I mean, if the IO is not enough to drive off the chip, you may need a retimer in front of it.
Yeah, I agree. It's part of IO, and I think it could, even if it's protocol specific, that's okay. Like if you have a signal coming from, a different board that needs to be retimed in your package.
Retimer repeaters. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do people on this call know any of these things in a chiplet form aside from what's in the Excel file already? And can they add if they know any to that Excel file?
These are the things that I had before I left before Amsterdam.
Yeah, the people on the call that are suggesting all these categories, I'm just wondering if they know of any of those components in a chiplet form, if they can add it to this list.
Yeah, it's a good question. We have an open call for extra chiplets to add to that list.
Alex, you have access to this list, right? You can edit this if you'd like. I think anybody who wants to should be able to edit this.
Great.
That was nice, Alex. Thanks. Anything else?
Thank you to everyone.
Anything else we need to do? Or this is it, you think? All right. Anybody else with any opens?
Something's occurring to me, Bobby. Who's going to maintain this catalog? Like, what's the mechanism? The logistical aspect.
I think this is the one thing that maybe we hang off the wiki or no, it's a really open question. I wanted to get the vendors themselves to maintain it, but there's one vendor who I won't name who has chiplets, who's announced it on their webpage, and they're not interested in being on this list. So we have two buckets. Bucket one I've seen is if the vendor maintains it, then it's easy. You just maintain an open list, and the vendor updates the listing. That's the situation here for all of these right now.
Yeah.
There's one specific vendor who has open chiplets who I'm considering adding to this, but then we'd face an issue of, how do you maintain how do you keep the data consistent with whatever they're reporting?
Yeah, that's kind of the things running through my mind. Exactly.
Yeah, so that's why I had this information source, and this bugged me when I created the sheet. I'm really glad we're doing so. We're spending more cycles on this.
Yeah, I agree. It has to be a vendor, and if the vendor doesn't want to be on it, then they're not on it. But I think it's a dangerous road to go down to start adding vendors without them doing it themselves.
But what about if it's the information's on a wiki, on their public-facing webpage? It's not secret information.
I still think they need to want to be on this catalog in particular.
So is this a catalog of people who want to be listed, not necessarily a catalog of everything that's available? I'm asking, not recommending.
That was how I thought about it. But we could hear other opinions.
This is worth a discussion somewhere. Maybe this we really need to hash out at the.
It depends on what the purpose of the catalog is going to be and how it's going to be used. So if it is capturing the people who are involved, and we are only addressing the needs of the people who are involved, it makes sense to just include only that group of people. But if the purpose is to cover all aspects of the chiplet, then it may be good to kind of have that, because there may be corner cases that is not represented in the participant. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah. So what is the purpose? I mean, maybe that's what do you all think? So we have two options. A is single stop shop for all chiplet data. Which one do you vote on?
Bobby, I think it depends on who's going to maintain it. So if it will be maintained by OCP, I'd say only data for participants that OCP agrees to list, right? So for now, people can get, eventually should be part of OCP marketplace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think this is something we need to put a lot of thought into, because if someone is entering into a venture to build a SIP, this is going to be their first impression of, is this ecosystem robust and complete and available?
This feels the December discussion worthy.
Yeah, and just to add to it, I mean, we'd be happy to make some contribution in this area, because as I look at this list of chiplets, They're actually small size chips, and there are a lot of them already available in chiplet format. So, and they can be listed in there. The high performance accelerators and those things are not, right? So that would be the new thing, especially category number 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, Jawad, I think it's worth saying a bit more about the chiplet catalog you already have at Ziegler.
Yes, so we have 250 chiplets, which are wafer level chip scale packages publicly available, publicly listed by semiconductor companies. Their only challenge is that they are relatively small in size, and they are kind of geared towards a category 4 and primarily category 4 and maybe some part of category 3, but they're mostly geared towards ultra low power applications. And we have about 2,000 more in the works, but that is that particular market. Where we lack chiplets really in the high performance is category 1, 2, part of 3, obviously 5, right? So and then the more and more people are actually announcing these chiplets. So the important thing really is that we focus on these new categories that are geared towards high performance applications. Now, I'd be happy to show that to you, but you can just look at our chiplet store. It's available online. But they are essentially wafer level chip scale packages. So with this particular effort, what we really should focus on are flip chip scale packages geared towards performance oriented multi-chip module. We have implemented a similar thing where we have a vendor console where all the listing of the chiplets is under vendors control. They can assign their chiplets to the users of our chip builder software using their chip builder ID. So and they essentially can maintain their own relationship. And we'd be happy to share that knowledge with OCP, and OCP can potentially implement something similar. Or we can make some contribution and open up a section of that.
So you can open up a contribution of please help me describe it, Jawad. I'm sorry. I was like,
there are 2 ways of doing it. We can provide assistance and know-how on how we implemented the vendor console and OCP can replicate it. The second option is we can open up a section in our vendor console that would only be governed by the OCP agreement. So we can separate it out and just reserve it for the usage of OCP, because it's not exactly in line with what we are trying to do right now, but for the sake of contribution, it's relatively low engineering overhead for us to implement it.
So, Javed, I had a question on this. Basically, I went to your website to see this console, and now there are a lot of chips listed there, but these are all like just ball bump packages and all that kind of thing. So, is there a definition of what is a chiplet and what is not a chiplet?
From Zeagle's point of view, yes, there is. We actually have a blog on it, and we define it in a very simple manner, which is if it is a monetization point for a company that they sell the part to another company to be used in, let's say, a board or AMCM or something, then that becomes a chiplet. And it has to be a flip chip to be compatible with organic substrates or silicon interposer. If it is a packaged part, then it's not. So the ones that we have listed are essentially all die-sized. They're all die-sized silicon packages that are referred to as wafer level chip scale package. We also have some flip chip scale packages that are at 130 nanometer, 130 micron ball pitch. So a lot of chips that we have are actually not listed because they're not in the public. What you see over there are publicly listed die size packages. So that's our definition. And part of the reason we define it like that, when people sell a component, you don't have to worry about defects and testing and all of that because all those issues have already been taken care of by those semiconductor companies. So in fact, the availability of wafer level chip scale packages about 4 years ago was one of the reasons that enabled us to build what we have. Rohit, did I answer your question?
No, he's still here. Hey, so we're almost out of time. Actually, this is what maybe Alex, the one thing we didn't discuss is what attributes should we list. I sort of when I polled you guys for this list, I made up my own, but this might be worth a discussion because Jawad has like way more experience than I do on this. You know, should we keep it bare bones?
We start kind of overlapping with what Jawad is doing, and also the survey results from the survey I did a while back.
So what would you like? Say that again. How would you like me to capture that?
No, I didn't answer that question. I think it's a good question.
Okay.
And another bigger discussion.
Okay, so maybe we'll hit this next week.
Okay.
It clearly stirred up a lot of interest. So maybe next week we just go back, revisit this. Which attribute should we list? And maybe Jawad, do you want to do a brief walkthrough to your console or something like that?
Sure, I can do that. Happy to.
Okay.
I agree. This is a good topic for discussion at a workshop, maybe, Bapi.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the 18th I can't go because I have that conflicting board meeting.
Okay. We're here. Anybody have any other opens? Alex, thank you. That actually was like a pretty meaty one. In that case, enjoy your weekend. See you all next week.
Have a great day.
Great. Thanks,
Bapi.
Thanks all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, if anybody's on, all the slides and some are on the wiki. So I saw Michael's message.
That's awesome. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So
are they curious? Are they in PDF format or PowerPoint format?
I think for the most part.
Yeah, PDF. They've all been converted.
Shoot, is there any way to get hold of the
bad answer for Kevin?
Yeah, I want to steal a whole bunch of that material for another purpose. Is there a way to get hold of
I'll
the
send it to you,
PowerPoint?
Kevin. I've got PDF. I've got PowerPoints for a bunch of them. Whatever you have, I'll send it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much. Thank you for getting my back there, Boppy. Have a great weekend.
Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks, Kevin. Bye all.